Hey everyone, welcome to Opal Oracle if you're new. If you're returning, hi. Okay, Aries. So, I climbed a mountain for you and Taurus, which I actually am now realizing that they have Uranus in your house and you have Uranus in their house. Okay. The ant is your creature for this time. Okay, let's see what you got. Okay. Happy new moon on May 15th in Taurus, okay? You actually have 1, 2, 3 major arcana on the board. That's the Empress, okay? That's about fertile ground, right? Like growing something. It's about Mother Nature. It's about beginning something, right? And I see that your present situation actually has you in a good position, okay? In some way or another. You realize this could also just be you really organizing your energy and understanding how that organization will help you move forward in the most appropriate way. Okay, really. Keeping your energy in check. Okay. Now, your challenge is the Fool. Okay. So even though you're moving forward presently, there's something about the newness, also with the Empress, right, that sort of scares you. Sorry about that sound. Although this is nature, there's actually a lot of military bases, well, everywhere now, sadly. I thought they weren't supposed to do that sort of thing unless we're at war, but I guess we're always at war, right? So that's a helicopter. It can go up, it can go down, it can go forward, and it can go backwards, but it doesn't really take right or lefts. Okay, so there's something about that. You have choices right now, right? It's like kind of a crossroad. This or this, or this or this. And when I see that, that's a plus sign. I see for some of you, actually, it's not for all of you, but I did just hear this, that you could, because when I saw a plus sign, I saw like and I went back to the Empress and I thought of like a pregnancy test. Okay, so obviously for some of you, this is just about growth of self, etc., and I'm sure that's a part of it, but for some of you, that is the case and you actually are really excited about it. Okay. And this also is Uranus in your second house, right? Like your material world is expanding. It's something really miraculous that brings a lot of joy, okay? That you want to tell your friends about. But there is a sense of whatever it is that you are growing, that you're a little bit concerned about the financial aspect of it, which makes sense with Uranus in your second house, okay, in Taurus's house. It's like, how can I really afford this? Like, how can I, am I going to be stable in this situation? But yes, you will. And subconsciously, you know that you will, right? And you know that you are. But there's something that you're still a little bit afraid of. There's something that you still don't quite understand. This could also be, although I tend to see most Aries having pretty good confidence, right? Of course, there's things that you're like, you don't feel that secure about. And then I saw a pentacle again. So, you know, money could stress you out. But I heard don't let it stress you out, because right now it's about, there's just something really new that's helping you understand, like something, I mean, for some of you, I guess this could be about your job, you know, like where you find your stability, how you find your stability. And in that, because the Queen of Pentacles also has grown all the way up to this, right? Now she's a grown-up. And she's been kind of doing her own thing this kind of way. And now she's like, yeah, this is me. This is who I am. This is what I do. Da, 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 da. But you can tell that there's a lot of consideration within your subconscious. And I see that there's a lot of consideration at nighttime. Now I see that that Scorpio full moon probably gave you some sort of insight, because although the moon can be about confusion and this, that, and the other thing, it also very much is a wonderful way to be enlightened, okay, to shed light upon something that has been in the dark for a long time, okay, because we start feeling, this is in your past, and this is Scorpio too, like it's about really feeling what it is that's going on, okay? And being, you know, for a lot of you, you could have, well, of course you could be dealing with a water sign, but it's more about, because this is always about you, is like you becoming emotionally mature, okay? But reaching a higher level of this. Now, once we become the king, well, this guy still has a little bit of a hard time expressing himself when he's upset. When he's happy, golden, you know, but when he's upset, it's kind of like he does hold a bit more inside, okay? Or when he finally does exert it outwardly, it's sort of, I don't think that that's the main situation, though. It's not neither here nor there, but it's not the point, okay? It's actually a very interesting reading. You actually don't have any wands besides this. Okay, this is your element. So please remember that this is, for you, this is kind of the main energy. Okay, and it's moving forward into the future. Where is it that you want to go? And I think that the where is kind of like, how do I get there? You know, I've already climbed this mountain. Now where do I go from here? Okay. I also see consciously you're wishing for more friends, okay? Like you're wishing for, to expand your social circles, and you will. But I think with everyone, at least in the beginning, like the first 6 months of this Uranus transit will really determine like what's going to happen after that. And so a lot of the work is going to be about, although Taurus is, again, like the material world and the five senses and all this jazz, it's also, it's resources, but that resource is internal. The internal resources. Okay? Particularly this. How stable do you feel in your feelings? How stable do you feel in your relationships? How much are you able to express yourself maturely, confidently? Okay? Because I know that I just put these both in your, I put these next to one another. They're both again Scorpio, and he's not looking over there. okay? He's facing the future, but he knows that he needs to assess something within his deep subconscious. And I see that Uranus is really going to help that, okay? If you so do desire. And with lessons like this, 7-year transits, whatever, it's like, how willing are you to look at it? Do you want to see it as successful or not? You know? Now, in the future, you have the Ace of Swords and the 7 of Pentacles. Not trying to give you the finger. Just kidding. You ever think about that? The different ways that, well, hand motions are interesting. Like, I think in, you know, depending on what country you're from, like this in the States is like, fuck you, you know? But some people put their thumb out, some people do a fist, you know? I think in, like, Greece, there's something about, like, or Italy is like 2 fingers, or there's something, you know, body language has something to do with this, okay? Which makes sense with Taurus. Like, they're very, again, they're all 5 senses, so once you're aware, you're really becoming aware of your 5 senses. That's how you're going to learn more truth about how you need to maybe pay attention more to your body. Okay, and for those of you who are pregnant or are going to find out you're pregnant, that also is like, hey, I need to really start taking care of myself. Maybe what I've been eating, and even if you're not pregnant, it's like, I just sense this about the body right now. Like, what are you eating? How are you taking care of yourself? What's your exercise routine? Like, how are you caring for the body? Okay, because the physical body is the expression of the external world, and your fire, you are the action, the external. So it's really important for you to, I just keep hearing exercise. Okay, that's how you're going to have more success. And I know that, let's see about the Fool. Yeah, it really is about, there's something about opening up avenues of the body, okay, and gaining, like, learning to look at this situation, wherever, whatever you're going through. It's really about looking at it from an open mind, okay? Like, asking the questions, being in a fun, curious kind of way, like, cool, this happened, all right, what do we do now? Like, where are we gonna go? You know? Like, this person kind of is the Fool. At very least, at least within their mind, okay, about the way that they're thinking about it. And that's a really good attitude to have, because maybe this is your inner child being like, hey, come on, let's go. Let's go. It's fun. And your adult self is like, I don't know. All this yellow. I don't know where to go. I'm just gonna forget about how much I've grown, how much I've done in my life, how awesome I am. But you don't have to forget that. Let's see about this Fool, because he's kind of, I feel like, because it can be naivety too, but I don't think that that's the case. I think it's more about, something brand new is happening. How do I move forward now? Okay, the Fool. How do we help the challenge of the Fool for Aries? I know you don't want to make the wrong decision. Okay, I sense that there's a responsibility factor. Okay, it's more about this one though. There's something about, oh, I want to be really responsible in this. I want to be really responsible. And again, you have a king, you have a queen. These are all adults. Okay. But it goes back to the inner child, like, well, firstly, you have to know that there are no wrong roads in life. Okay? No wrong roads. There are longer roads, there are shorter roads, there are smoother roads, there are rockier roads, but there are no wrong roads. You always end up exactly where you are always where you are supposed to be. Okay? And it's about learning the lesson to whatever that situation is, viewing it as a blessing, okay? just doing our best to not be too afraid of the shadow, which is also the feminine, which is also your fear, right? And, you know, try to curb the conversations that you're having in your head about this awesome new start. Just get really buggy. Hold on. You know? It's like there's one end of the stick, right? That's kind of, you've been using the same tool in the same kind of way for a while. And now you have an opportunity to, you know, the thing is part of the reason this doesn't light so well is because wax ended up being on it, okay? And so the thing is I could cut this off, right, and just start new. Whole new piece, nice and fresh, right? Just like the Empress, just like all this green. Like when I moved here to this place, to this state, everything was brown. I mean, I love brown, but like everything, there was no growth yet. It was cold, you know? And so in saying so, it's like through time, well, now everything is blossoming. So that, especially with the Empress, it really is about patience, okay? I want to see the Fool again because, yeah, it's the same message. Like, you're kind of having a conversation in your head that is really unproductive, and it's because you feel like you have to do something by yourself, okay? But you don't. Because even if you don't have like the love of your life or whatever in your life that you think would be ultimately emotionally fulfilling, right? Because even though the King's here, he's still kind of like, I don't know. God loves you. Okay? And peace of self, really, like that centered, like being centered, you know, that's also what exercise does. Is it's kind of like, think about a kid, right? Like a toddler or a dog even. When we exercise them, when we let them run, go outside and run and play, they behave better, okay? They communicate better. They're more willing to listen. And what is listening also, but when we calm our energy within inside of ourselves, good girl. Good girl, Zumi. Good girl, you're so pretty. When we calm our energy within inside of ourselves, well, then we can hear messages from God, from our ancestors, from ourselves easier. Okay? Yeah. So you can gain the higher perspective of you and know that I mean, Chiron has been in Aries for the last 7 years, right? As far as I recall. That means that, and Chiron's the wounded healer, okay? So you've been doing a lot of work, and now it's giving you a new perspective. But you have to keep that perspective and know that if something changes in your life, that's okay. That's okay. Because you're moving forward. There is no backwards. Now, I've been kind of telling everybody, or at least the people that I've... Look, you just fell out again. It's okay to be who you are, and it's okay to change who you are. There's your opposite, Libra, right? I would say that they have a message for you that'll help you with your inner child. Okay? Whatever those little arguments you have that block you from thinking that you can succeed, right? That you can move forward in this path. Okay? And you're not going to be foolish about it unless you, because the thing is about Uranus is like, it is about change. Okay, so we have to be open to that, but I don't see this as you being blocked in it, really. It all depends on how you want to look at it. you know? Now, you, Taurus, Scorpio, and Libra all received this deck, okay? This is actually the first tarot deck that I ever received in my hands in my life, okay? And during that time, I was going through a very, very stressful time. I had the Tower come. I lost a 20-year plus friendship, love. Like, they were my family. They were my soul family, right? They were very much connected to my psyche, to everything, you know. They sort of, there was definitely something karmic about the situation. But the thing was, is even though I wanted to continue this situation the way that it was going, I realized, well, I did realize, but I ignored it, that something needed to change, that I really needed to think about, like, how my working with people, or lack thereof, like, because the thing is the Tower did come, okay? I lost again, that person, lost. That person was removed from my life. And even though I even tried to get it back, it was very, very, very challenging. Like, I lived in a Walmart parking lot for 3 months in my homegirl Allie's truck, okay? I couldn't have my dog because I was living in a truck. And it was summertime and it was hot and muggy where I lived. Like, she would have, you know, would have been bad for her. It was a really, really devastating, troublesome time. But it also taught me so much about who I was, about who it is that I work with, and what it is that I needed to change. Okay, this is also, Libra, your opposite. Okay? Don't eat that buggy because that's a hornet and it'll get you. Okay? Please go away. No, baby. Ah! Hold on. Leave me alone. I'm not a flower. I'm not a flower. I'm a person. So, in that process, one day, I was basically like I said, this ended up in my hands, okay? And the thing was, that was, you know, I didn't really understand what was going on at first. Like, I was like, what am I going to do with this? You know? Thanks, Sumi. But it ended up giving me a new skill, okay? A new understanding, a new ability to build a new structure and comprehension and faith in who I was. Because if it wasn't for that traumatic, and honestly, I'll tell you the God's honest truth, that was probably, and I've had a lot of low points in my life, but that was a really, really low point in my life. That was it was just 23, okay? That's 2 5s. It was very stressful, okay? But 2 5s equals the 10. I just split the deck. Okay, because if it wasn't for that situation, if I didn't live in that truck, if I didn't end up meeting that person and then removing that connection, whatever that was, because the connection that I'm talking about, it's not just like you're going to lose some person in your life. It's about you removing a connection to, maybe it's your mother and your father. Okay? Maybe it's to certain friendships. But there's nothing wrong with that because you have the star. You're actually getting what it is that you wish for. And in that situation, that's what happened. I had been praying to heal. Okay? Being aware of what I wanted to see, like how I wanted to, where I wanted to go in life, how I wanted to see success, how I wanted to be fearless in that, wherever it is that I'm going, and have faith. Okay? Because if it wasn't for all that, I wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here. We would not be here right now. Okay? Me talking to you. And I wish you were here talking to me, because that would be awesome. Because I'm sure it would be a fun conversation. You know? Because even though you have Saturn in Capricorn, technically the 10th house, the opposite is Libra in the 4th house, which means that all the opposites are learning from one another. And I've been telling everybody, but it's really important. It'll help wherever it is that you feel confused. It'll help you to figure out who you are and who you're growing into and who you're leaving behind that doesn't suit you anymore, that kind of blocks you, right? Your root chakra, like opening that up. It gives a lot of keys to the doors that we feel like that we can't open so that we can actually move forward, okay? And with success, with more vulnerability. And again, having more faith in the path, okay? Not being so indecisive about it because we already really know, okay? Have fun. Have fun. Have fun in this journey. The sun just poked its head out. Have fun, okay? Let's see how, because the thing is this Ace of Swords comes, which means cut it out, you know, cut that out of your mind. And I sense that this sword is what I was talking about earlier, where you're having that sort of like, your inner child's having a conversation and be like, I don't wanna. Or, you know, you think in some way or another you're not able to achieve something new. You're challenged, right? Because this guy's like, God's like, here's this sword, you can cut it out now and you can succeed. But this person's kind of like, this is going into the future. It's like, he's not picking his head up to see that this is his sword. He wants to keep doing whatever he's doing, but it doesn't, you cannot anymore. You are unable. But it's not that it's not because you are unable, it's because you're not supposed to anymore. It wants you to do something new. Wow. This just floated down like a feather and landed on top of that. And I see, once you cut out those parts of your psyche that make you feel like, you want to see something funny? She's a desert dog, so she's a hole digger. It's cooler down there. Okay, hold on. Because this also is about your self-worth. Okay, thinking that you're not enough in some way or another. Therefore, you stick with something, right? But you don't have to keep growing something. You're growing something brand new. Okay? And part of what you're growing is the truth about gaining your own peace within yourself, your own comfortability. And you know how you do that? By digging in the soil. And you know who digs in the soil the best? You know who's the best soil digger? Scorpio. I hear that they have a message for you, okay? They rule everything underground. Scorpio is very helpful to this process, okay? So is Libra. Aries. Yes, they will help you be more open-minded, okay? And also to help you see where where you become a little bit stuck in your mind. Because of the structure of your, because listen, Capricorn, where Saturn is for you, is the father, okay? And how is it that your father's, like, the way he showed example of independence, of like, because not only is this have all kinds of good situations, but it also has kind of like stubborn, they're alone, right? And they are sort of afraid in a way to trust other people in a sense. But I see that that cycle is closing. And it's time for you, like you've been thinking enough about what the situation is, what you want the situation to be. Like you've done all the thinking, okay? Now you have to take action, okay? And that's kind of what the Fool is. It's like, and this is what this is. Take action, move forward, Just move forward. You can and you will. I mean, in the future, you have the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Cups. That's awesome. Let's see if there's anything else for Aries. I see taking quiet days, if you can, like, or even meditating daily. Like, I actually suggest this to a lot of people. It's very helpful. But we live in a fast-paced world, so setting a timer, like on your phone or whatever, most people have a telephone now that does all sorts of things. Well, I just heard removing yourself from electronics once in a while, going into nature, right, is very helpful to this process to help you understand and analyze what it is that's going on, gain a higher perspective. But also setting a timer each day for the same time of day and taking a 9-minute meditation. Okay, just sitting down. Oh, there's the Empress. Just sitting down. And you don't have to think about what you're trying to grow or what the situation is. I just want you to rest for 9 minutes a day. Don't think about anything. Try not to think about anything. You know, if you want to, you can go over what it is that you're afraid of, what it is that you feel sort of stuck about, you know, if you want to. But remember that kind of, it's not that I don't want you to assess it, because obviously you need to assess some of your fears, right? And digging will actually help you be more comfortable. But as you dig, remember that you need to dig up and then come up into the sunlight and be like, okay, yes, these things are, okay, then you can ask, like, I'm feeling this way. Like, God, what do you want me to do now? What am I supposed to do now? You know? I definitely see, look, I just split this. I definitely see that meditation will really help in this transformation of self, okay? And what it is that you're going through. And there's Libra again. And, wow. Okay? In the way that you're, the structures of your own mind. And Scorpio is the subconscious, okay? Which goes back to that 7 of Pentacles. You're just working on your own self-mastery so that you don't become stuck anymore, okay? And for those of you, I just keep seeing it, but like for those of you where this is a really new situation, and if you are pregnant, it's like, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Because the thing is we only receive, well, what we ask for. So that's why the saying is, be careful what you ask for. Because you do always receive it, but maybe not the way that you want it. So just be aware of that and know that, like, again, pregnancy, the Empress, it doesn't matter male or female, it's really about growing something new. And beyond all the other external things that could happen, because you don't have any pentacles here, it's not really about the external. I mean, yes, of course, for some of you that other aspect is true, but it's more about your own healing internally, emotionally, psychologically, subconsciously, which is awesome. And you can do it. Let's do one more. You can heal all that stuff that keeps you stuck. You really can. You're not alone. God's right there all the time. Mother Nature's here all the time. You know? The insects and the trees and the birds and the clouds and the sun and the moon. It's all here. Okay? It's the end of a cycle, Aries. It's the end of the cycle. And soon you won't have to put so much energy into who you think that you're supposed to be. Okay? Just start loving you more. I also see going on little, like, journeys. Maybe that's with the Hermit too. Like, today, go climb a mountain. You know? Observe Mother Nature. She has all, when we feel stuck, when we feel stuck, you want to observe Mother Nature, okay? She has all the lessons, all the answers that we seek. God has all the answers that we seek, okay? It's in an example, though, okay? It's all about the way that we look at it. Love you so much. Take care, okay? Oh, by the way, in case you didn't know, or no one told you, you are safe, you are loved, and you are protected, okay? Peace out.